This episode is provided by Thomas Allgaier and Frenos, based on the most relevant LinkedIn posts about channel marketing in calendar weeks 7 and 8. Frenos is a B2B market research partner, helping enterprises translate market, customer, and competitive insights into actionable strategies that drive growth and success across their channel and partner ecosystems.
Welcome to the deep dive. We are looking specifically at the top channel marketing insights from LinkedIn during calendar weeks 7 and 8. And I have to say, going through the stack of sources for this week, the tone has really shifted.
It really has. I mean, usually when we look at channel marketing content, there's a lot of, fluff, a lot of talk about synergy and better together and high-level relationship building.
Right.
But this week, it felt like everyone was finally looking under the hood of the car and realizing the engine is installed backwards.
That is a great way to put it.
Right.
The overarching theme here isn't how do we make friends anymore. It's really how do we build a machine.
Yeah.
We are seeing a very clear move from what I'd call opportunistic revenue.
Like getting a lucky referral every now and then.
Exactly. Moving from that to a truly engineered approach.
Right. And to engineer something, you need blueprints. So our mission for you on this deep dive is to hand you those blueprints. We're going to look at the structural collision between RevOps and Partner Ops, how to actually speak the language of the big hyperscalers like Microsoft, and finally, where AI fits into the plumbing of it all.
Let's start with that collision, the relationship between RevOps, meaning revenue operations, and Partner Ops.
Usually these two sit in completely different buildings, metaphorically speaking. I mean, RevOps is over there guarding the CRM, right?
Salesforce for HubSpot, yeah.
Exactly. Managing the direct sales team's forecast. And Partner Ops is over in a corner somewhere managing the PRM, the Partner Relationship Management System.
And that separation is exactly what Kyle E. flagged as the root cause of the revenue gap. He had this really sharp insight that neither of those teams actually owns the space between them.
It's a total no man's land.
It is. Kyle points out that something like 40% of revenue in B2B tech touches both motions.
Wow.
Yeah, you have a partner involved and a direct rep involved. But because the tech stacks are completely separate, you end up with what he calls the CFO problem.
Which is essentially, I can't see it, so I don't believe it.
Spot on. The CFO just sees chaos. The board sees risk. I mean, if you have to manually mash up 2 spreadsheets just to prove a partner influenced a deal, you've already lost the argument.
It looks like guesswork.
Exactly. It looks like you're making it up.
So what is the actual fix here? Because, just telling 2 departments to merge is a lot easier said than done.
Kyle argues the fix actually has to be architectural before it's organizational. You need a single source of truth.
Meaning API-first integrations.
Exactly. You cannot have Partner Ops running a system that doesn't talk to the CRM in real time. If the account data isn't syncing instantly, you're building your whole partner program on sand.
This connects perfectly to something Brendan O'Connor brought up. He took it a step further and said that when partnerships fail, we almost always blame the partner. We say, oh, they just didn't sell enough. But Brendan argues they fail because the internal system, what he calls the embedded GTM, just wasn't built to support them.
That term, embedded GTM, is crucial. It means the partner motion is baked right into the standard operating procedure of the company. It's not just bolted on the side as an afterthought.
Right, because if a direct sales rep has to open a different browser tab just to log a partner interaction,
they just won't do it.
They absolutely won't, and that leads to friction. Javier Bastante added a layer to this that I found really interesting regarding definitions. He says the failure often comes down to a complete lack of shared language between sales and alliances.
Oh, this happens all the time. An alliances manager runs into a meeting all excited and says, great news, I have a strategic partner.
And the sales VP just rolls their eyes and says, great, let me know when the check clears.
Because their definitions of success are totally different.
Right.
Javier's point is that you have to define the term proven motion explicitly. You sit down and agree. Does proven mean a warm intro?
Or does it mean the partner is actually doing the demo?
Or does it mean they're holding the paper and closing the deal?
Yeah.
Once you actually agree on the definition, scaling just becomes a math problem.
But if you don't agree, it's a political problem.
And nobody wants more political problems.
Absolutely not. Okay, so we fix the internal plumbing, we get RevOps and Partner Ops talking. Now we have to look outward, specifically at the 800-pound gorillas in the room, the hyperscalers. Microsoft and AWS.
This was a massive topic in weeks 7 and 8. And honestly, for a lot of companies listening, this is where that opportunistic versus engineered distinction becomes the most painful.
Because everyone wants to ride that hyperscaler wave, but As Marina Tunick pointed out regarding the Microsoft ecosystem, most companies are just doing it wrong.
Yeah.
They think joining the ecosystem means filling out a form on a marketplace and then just waiting for the phone to ring.
Which is the listing strategy. And it just doesn't work. Marina's analysis is that the partners who actually get referrals, the ones who get that real inbound flow, do three things differently. But the absolute biggest one is specialization.
Because saying we do Azure is not a specialization.
No, it's just noise. Microsoft has thousands of partners who quote-unquote do Azure. The field teams at Microsoft, the actual sellers, they don't know what to do with a generalist.
Right.
Marina says you have to go in saying, we solved the specific problem enterprises hit when adopting Azure DevOps at scale in the healthcare sector.
Okay, that is very specific, but why does that level of specificity matter so much to the Microsoft seller?
Because of how they get paid. And this brings us to Brian Kabler's advice, which was honestly some of the toughest love in the stack this week.
Oh yeah, he did not hold back.
He basically said, stop pitching your product features. Microsoft sellers do not care about your features.
Which is so hard for product people to hear. We all love our features.
You just have to get over it. Brian explains that Microsoft sellers care about their quota retirement. That's it. They care about Azure consumption metrics, which they call ACR, ERP velocity, and Copilot activation.
So if I go to a Microsoft seller and say, hey, my software has the absolute best dashboard for budgeting, they just tune out.
Completely. But if you walk in and say, my software drives 20% more Azure consumption because of how we process massive data sets, suddenly you are their best friend.
Because you aren't selling a product anymore.
Right, you are selling their bonus.
That is the pull versus push dynamic in action. You're creating a gravitational pull.
And if you want to see what this looks like when it's fully engineered and working at scale, you really have to look at the Workiva case study that Roman Kirsanov broke down.
This analysis was wild. Roman looked at their earnings call, and the numbers were staggering. Workiva is crossing $1 billion in ARR, and the CEO highlighted 14 major enterprise deals. Do you remember how many involved a partner?
All 14.
Every single one.
That is 100% attachment on their marquee deals. But what Roman pointed out, and this is the really engineered part, is that Workiva made a strategic choice to offload the implementation work entirely.
Right, they just gave that service revenue directly to the partners.
Exactly. They recognize that implementation is lower margin and honestly harder to scale than pure software. So they feed all that revenue to the partners.
Which keeps Workiva's margins high.
Which Wall Street loves.
And it gives the partners a massive financial incentive to bring deals to Workiva.
Which the sales team loves. It's a perfectly symbiotic ecosystem.
Roman also noted their cloud commitment. They have over $120 million in non-cancelable cloud infrastructure commitments through 2029.
That signals serious alignment. When you owe AWS or Google that much money, you aren't just a guest in their house. You're a tenant.
Right.
You are structurally aligned with their growth. You have to burn down that financial commitment, but you design your go-to-market to ensure consumption actually happens. It literally forces you to build that machine.
But let's say you aren't quite Workiva yet. You're just trying to break into AWS. Jen Dawson referenced a quote from Gino Cotignola that really struck me. She said, pipeline is earned, not assigned.
That is the ultimate cold shower reality check. There is zero entitlement in the AWS ecosystem. Mogan AD backed this up too. He noted that the messy middle, scaling from your first partnership to your 100th, is exactly where most companies die.
Why do they die there?
Because they rely on casual intros. It's like, hey, I know a guy at AWS. I'll shoot him an email. That works perfectly for deal number 1.
But it doesn't work for deal number 50.
Exactly. Mogan argues you have to move to a governed motion.
Governed motion sounds very bureaucratic.
It sounds boring, but it's highly profitable. It means joint pipeline reviews on a strict schedule. It means shared account plans that are actually tracked in the CRM.
Moving from we like each other to we have a shared business plan that we are held accountable for.
Precisely.
So we have the internal plumbing fixed with RevOps. We have the external pitch perfectly aligned with the hyperscalers. Now we have to talk about the accelerant AI.
And to be clear, we aren't talking about generative AI writing your follow-up emails. We are talking about AI as core infrastructure.
Jay McBain, who is honestly always ahead of the curve on this stuff, noted that AI is touching every single lever now. Incentives, governance, enablement. But the thing that really caught my eye was the shift in how we handle certifications.
Yes, the competence currency. Historically, vendors would just ask partners, how many sales reps do you have?
Because headcount equaled reach.
Right. But now, they don't care about headcount. They care about time to value.
Because AI completely changes the map on what a single person can do.
Exactly. If one partner uses AI-assisted delivery to implement your software in 2 weeks, and another partner has 50 guys on the bench but takes 6 months to do the same job, you want the first partner every time.
So vendors are actually starting to subsidize that competence. They're using AI to verify real skills rather than just counting certifications hanging on a wall.
But on a practical, day-to-day level, Greg Portnoy shared an example that I think every single partner manager listening to this will want to steal immediately. The AI partner account manager living inside Slack.
Oh, this tackles the biggest silent killer of partnerships out there: portal fatigue.
Yes.
We all know the drill. Welcome to our partner portal. Please create a unique password that includes a symbol, a hieroglyph, and the blood of a virgin.
And then you log out and literally never log in again.
Never again. Partners absolutely hate portals. They live in Slack or Microsoft Teams. So Greg talked about Euler's AI agent. It allows partners to just ask questions directly in their native workflow.
Things like, where's my commission for that deal? Or do you have a one-pager on security compliance?
And the bot just answers it right there in Slack.
Instantly. Greg says it deflects 90% of those routine questions. Think about what that does for the human partner manager. Instead of spending your entire Tuesday answering where is the logo file, you're spending your day strategizing on a massive enterprise deal.
It just totally removes the friction. Craig Booth had a really similar example using Notebook LM, which is actually the tech powering this conversation right now. He uses it specifically for enablement.
He calls it structured performance partnering. He uploads a dense technical ebook, lets the AI generate a quick explainer video or an audio summary, and distributes that to the partners. It dramatically speeds up the knowledge transfer.
So AI gives you speed, and it gives you scale. But, and there is always a but, among these discussions, the sources this week were very clear that you cannot automate everything. And this brings us to our final theme, the human element.
This is the real paradox here.
Yeah.
We just spent 10 minutes talking about APIs, AI agents, and hyperscaler consumption metrics. But Rob Moyer came in with a post that basically said, stop, put down the tools immediately.
His advice was literally don't buy a PRM, which seems highly contradictory to what we said earlier about RevOps integration.
It sounds contradictory, but it's actually a sequencing argument.
Yeah.
Rob focuses on what he calls stage 0.
Okay.
If you are just starting out or you're launching a brand new partner type, do not buy software. Software automates a process. If you don't have a working process yet, the software just automates your confusion.
So what does a successful stage 0 actually look like then?
It's founder-led. It's highly manual. You prove the loop works with one partner first. You use a shared Slack channel as a makeshift deal room. You figure out the exact motion. Once it works repeatedly, then you go buy the PRM to scale it.
He also warned about the first partner hire, didn't he?
He did. He says that stage dies the moment attribution breaks. If you are doing things manually, you have to be obsessive about hard-coding partner sourced into the CRM. If the credit isn't there, the trust just evaporates overnight.
And trust really is the core currency here. Tushar Ranka had a great point about why sales reps ignore partners. We usually just assume the reps are lazy or maybe greedy.
But Tushar argues it's not a motivation problem at all. It's risk management.
Right?
Sales reps naturally view partners as friction and risk. They think, will this partner say something stupid in front of my biggest client? Will they slow down the deal cycle?
So the rep just hoards the deal to stay in control.
Exactly, unless you can answer two very specific questions for them. What is the next step and who drives it? If the rep knows exactly what the partner is going to do, the perceived risk goes down and the trust goes up.
It's a trust loop. Data builds trust builds activity, and activity builds revenue. But resources are finite. We can't build deep trust with everyone equally. Victor M. brought up the 20% rule.
This is the brutal math of resource allocation. The Pareto principle applies ruthlessly in channel marketing. 20% of your partners will drive 80% of your revenue.
So what do you do with the other 80% of partners?
You ignore them. Or rather, you automate them using the AI tools we just talked about. Victor argues you should spend fully 60% of your human management time on that top tier 1 group.
That is a huge concentration of effort.
It has to be. Brianna Popson backed this up perfectly. She said, more partners does not equal more revenue. Inactive partners are just noise in the system. They clutter your database and they distract your partner team. You are so much better off with 10 highly activated partners than 500 logos on a website who don't even know your core pitch.
This circles right back to Chip Rogers' point where he referenced Ron Piavasan. He said partnerships should always be a pull, not a push.
That is the ultimate litmus test for everything we've discussed today. If you are constantly nagging your direct sales reps to call a partner, the value simply isn't there.
Stop pushing.
Stop pushing and fix the value proposition. If the value is real, if the partner actually helps close the deal faster or makes the deal bigger, the reps will naturally pull them in.
Let's tie this all together for the listener. We started with the idea of moving from opportunistic to engineered.
Right.
The pull dynamic is the ultimate result of good engineering. If you fix the RevOps data so the CFO actually trusts it.
That removes the friction.
If you pitch the hyperscalers on their consumption metrics instead of your features.
That creates the incentive.
If you use AI to answer partner questions instantly in Slack.
That creates the speed.
And if you focus your human capital almost entirely on the top 20% of partners.
That creates the scale.
It really feels like channel marketing is finally growing up. It's becoming less about networking and buying drinks at conferences and much more about architecture and economics.
It is becoming a hard science. We are seeing a permanent shift from channel management to ecosystem engineering.
Yeah.
The leaders who get this, the ones who build the API integrations, who define the metrics early, who leverage AI to remove friction, they are going to win.
And the ones who are just hoping for a lucky referral.
They're going to be left completely behind.
Predictable really is the key word here. Board members love predictable. CFOs love predictable.
And partners love getting paid on time.
That too. So here's a final thought to leave you with, something to mull over. If AI eventually handles all the routine enablement, the data syncing, and the portal navigation, the only thing left for human partner managers to do is build high-stakes trust. So look at your team. Are you hiring partner managers today for their spreadsheet skills, when you should really be hiring them for their emotional intelligence and strategic vision tomorrow?
That is the million-dollar question. Start with the data, but end with the human trust.
If you enjoyed this episode, new episodes drop every 2 weeks. Also check out our other editions on account-based marketing, field marketing, AI and B2B marketing, MarTech, go-to-market, and social selling.
Thank you for listening. Keep building those flywheels.
Thanks, everyone, and don't forget to subscribe.